So welcome here, and hello and bonjour. My name is Denise and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and my blog is chemoiscreations.blogspot.com. My online store, denisewillerton.stampinup.net. And if you'd like to place an order, please use this hostess code. Here is the card that I am featuring. Open up this card, look what happens. Is that not fantastic? This is called a twist and pop card. So I actually made it into a birthday card. I'm going to be using the Well Dressed Stampin' Up! Set, and for my sentiment, why did I pull this one out? I am not sure. Or maybe that's the sentiment that I used. We'll soon find out. No, because I used Happy Birthday. And so I used Rustic Retreat because I wanted these smaller items in my panels for inside of my card. So let's get going. So you're going to take a sheet of cardstock, you're going to cut it in half, and we're folding it and scoring it at 5.5. So this is 11 by 4 1/4, and I will have all of the measurements down below. We have, this is Night of Navy cardstock too, by the way. We have 8.5 by 2.5. We have a 2 3/4 by 11-inch piece of cardstock out of the Country Club Designer Series paper. I cut 2 pieces of 4 by 5 1/4. You're going to need 2. You're just going to need a small piece of scrap. And I have a couple of squares. These are the panels for the inside, 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. Hi, Darlene. You're going to need 4 of these, and 2.5 by 2.5, and you're going to need 4 of these. Now this little guy here is kind of our standard, what we usually use for panels. It's 4 by 5 1/4, and I cut it at 3 inches, which gives me the 2 pieces that I need. So I need 1 piece of 3-inch and 1 piece of 2 1/4. So 11 by 2 3/4 inches, and we are going to score that at 2 3/4 inches. Then we are going to score that at 5.5 inches, and I have pre-scored, so it doesn't look like I'm doing anything, and it's because I'm not. Then your next score is going to be at 8 1/4, or if you don't want to pull out your arm, if you just slip this out and go back to 2 3/4, there are all of your score lines. Now what we're going to do is we are going to make, whoa, what happened here? I did not score that properly. 5.5 was supposed to have been, it should have been 5.5, and for some reason I went to 6. So much for working ahead. Okay, so here is what we have. You have the letter M, forget that part right there, or the letter W. I want you to take your bone folder and I want you to give that a really, really good burnish. Hey Dave, how you doing? I didn't know you were into card making. You'll have to come to one of my classes. And Gail, hi, welcome here. So here is our scoring. So we're going to set that aside. Sorry for all that mix-up there. So now we are going to take our 8.5 by 2.5 panel. And I looked back on my Facebook Live, which incidentally I'm having issues with, and I think I figured out what it is. I think my signal is not strong enough here at our place. So unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to do lives. I've got a little bit of glue stuck here. So I think I'm going to stick with my YouTube videos until I get this figured out. So now back to this panel. So, and I think this is where I froze. This is my 8.5 by 2.5, I believe it was, and I didn't bring my little paper with me to figure that out. But what we're going to do with this one is we're going to find the halfway point. So at 1.25, which means, yes, it was 2.5, we are going to score. Okay, so what we're working on is we're working on the mechanism that is going to cause our card to do this. Okay, so halfway point, then we're going to put it at 3 inches. And what I want to do is I want to mark 3 inches on both sides. I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to do the same thing. So 3 inches on my scoreboard, mark it, and then mark it. And now what I want to do is I want to work on a diagonal. So my little pencil mark that is here in the track, I'm going to flip this until I see this one in the track, and I'm going to score. Make sure you use your score blade, not your cut blade. I only say that because I've done it. Again, same side, mark and mark. It's in the track. I'm double checking and score that. So now what we've done is, I don't know if you can see that, but we have made, no, you're not going to be able to see that. Where's my camera? I don't know where my camera is. See the X? That's what we've made. Okay, so let's move this to the side. So now what I want to do is on one of the diagonals, I want to fold it over and grab your bone folder. You want to make sure that you're square too. So if you need to adjust it a little bit, you can do that. Give that a good burnish. Now we're going to the other side, and same thing, give that a burnish. Now our halfway mark, let's do that, and I think this is where I froze. Now if I press this, see how it's doing that? We are beginning to make that mechanism. We're going to take both of these ends and we're just going to fold it like so. Okay, so that's, I believe, where we froze yesterday. So today is a new day and I am putting this together. This is what is going to go on the inside of our card. I wish I had a card base to show you. This is that mechanism that my video froze on yesterday. So I am going to pause. I'm going to upload this and let's see if we are tracking. See how your card is doing this? There's the mechanism. This is what we just created. Okay? Give that a good burnish. And set that aside along with my wonky M. Way to follow my own instructions. We are going to take our designer series paper. Now I've got 2 of them. Remember I had said at the beginning that there's 2? It's anyway, I'm going to use the Argyle side. But what you're going to do with this, so we are 4 inches wide. We are going to go, I'm stuck. Let's take that off. We're going to place this at 2 inches and put a little mark, which I've already done. Place this at 2 inches, put a little mark here, and put a little mark there. So now what I've got is I have marked myself at 2 inches at the top and 2 inches along either side. We are going to very carefully put the 2 inches in the track from the top. Find my other 2-inch mark. I'm going to close my arm, make sure I'm still in the track. And now, and I've got both papers here, so I want to make sure that I'm nicely lined up. That's my score blade. Now I want to cut. And here is what you're left with. Now we're going to repeat that. So now I want, stay together here, Denise. I want to put my point in the track. There's my other 2-inch mark. And am I good? I'm going to cut. So here is what we've just cut off. So these designer series papers are cut, so that's ready for our card. The well-dressed that I'm using, this is actually free with a $60 merchandise order, and this actually expires at the end of the month. The designer series paper, look at this suite. It's just fabulous. Here's the designer series paper and all of this, all of the golf elements that go with it. So you get 12 sheets of 12 by 12 for $15.75. If you are interested in that. So now we are going to stamp our panels. I'm going to take my little 2 1/4. I know, Gail, this stuff is fabulous, especially if you know people that are golfers. So these are my 4 2 1/4 inch panels, and I'm just going to put my magnet down. I want my shoe, and I want to try and center that on that panel. I'm going to pick that up with my Stamparatus, see if I like how my shoe is lined up. And I do. Grab my memento. I just inked this up, so hopefully I have not inked it up too much. Cheryl, hi! Welcome here. Nice to see you. I know you've got the day off of work because we were supposed to go somewhere together this weekend, but alas, it did not work. So this does not, it's not the same as going to a weekend creative gathering, but hopefully it helps. There's my shoe. My saddle, what are those called? Saddle shoes. I always wanted a pair when I was a kid. Okay, I don't need that shoe anymore. Let's give that a clean. I'm trying to go fast because I don't want to be ridiculously boring here. That's not square. But you know, with this pandemic that's going around, if this is how we create together, this is how we create together. I like that, so I'm going to set that aside, give that a clean. Now, mon petit chapeau. Where's my next 2 1/4? So all of these measurements I will have for you after the fact. So don't try to keep up right now because you won't. Yeah, I like that. Mon petit chapeau. I did not press hard enough. I want my hat to look a little bit sharper than that. Now all of these little guys, can you see them? They are part of the well-dressed free stamp set, and I had mounted them earlier when I created my first card, and I actually liked how they were mounted. Here's the beauty of the Stamparatus. You can have something that's already mounted on the window, lift it straight up, and boom, you are ready to go. 2¼ inch panel. Now all of those are going to get adhered down onto our 2½ inch panels. I just want to get all of this stamping done first, and then we're going to put the card together. Let's see if I remember how to do it. So we've got a watch. It's a Fitbit. A watch, a set of keys, and a lovely pen. Okay, so that is complete. Let's clean these guys off. Now, I normally host classes in my house, and I do have my April dates, so I am thinking that we were on for April. Remember that 4 by 5¼ panel, and we cut it at 3 inches, which then gave us 2¼ and 3 inches. Okay, so here we go. We're going to ink up this fabulous little cottage getaway, which is something I'm sure that we could all enjoy a little bit of right now. And then you know what I want to do is I want to add a few bows. What did I do with mine? It's not out, or it's not in my case. I had it out, and I don't know where I put it. You know what? I apologize. So we are not going to do that, just so that we can carry on. So there's the 3-inch part, okay? So now this is the 2¼ inch part. So here is my cottage scene, and this is what I'm working on now. So this is my 2¼ inch. I'm going to do this one. The real heroes in the world are fathers like you. So now that I have no technology going, I can't see if people are commenting or anything. And so this is a learning curve for me, and I will get it yet. I will get it yet. I'm in the middle of training to show me how to do this. So hopefully I will find some really good tips. Okay, so there is my sentiment for the bottom portion. Let's set that aside, and there's my bows. I just found them. Do I want to do it? Why not? Let's ink these up. Now on my other card, I actually had them quite far from the house or the cottage scene, and I realized that I would have wanted them a little bit closer. And no, I think I'm going to stay in that direction. And where am I? About there. Okay. So I am also eventually going to work towards doing some online classes, and I would love to have you join us. Okay, remember these two beauties? This is how that's going to go in our card, okay? So we know that this is going to be on the top portion, and this one here is going to be on the bottom portion. So what we're doing is, I want to ink on my silicone sheet. So the smaller, again, this is the 2¼ I want to line that up about halfway in between this and that, okay? So that is about my halfway mark. My lovely cottage scene. My Fitbit just told me that my battery was low, and I'm gonna line it up with the corners. Okay, so I want to go down here and line that up like so. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to take my tear and tape. You know what? Well, yeah, I can work on here. I hope I'm in screen here. Come on, baby. And I want my tear and tape a little bit longer than what I need, and I'm going to show you why. So I'm going to put that down right there. Give that a burnish. And that down right there. Take out my piercing tool. I would be lost without this guy. And I just want to lift that. No, stay there. Nothing sticks to the silicone sheet, so against my better judgment, I should have done what I wanted to do. And so maybe I will straighten up there, buddy. Okay, so now I'm going to take my burlap and I am just going to put it right over top of that. Okay? Same thing. Take this off. I want to try and keep those flaps of adhesive down my other piece of burlap. Don't know that that's working so well for me, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get that where it belongs. This was something that I saw on somebody else's post that they like to do, but you know what? I think I like my old school way better. Let's remove that and just bring this over. Now normally, if I was using a ribbon, but because this is burlap and it's a little bit thicker, when I do put this panel down on my card, I'm going to use dimensionals. Otherwise, if you're not using burlap, don't use dimensionals. Just use your tear and tape or your liquid glue, whatever it is that you prefer to work with. I am a liquid glue fan, but that's just me. So here is our top panel, and our bottom panel, we're going to do the same thing. But you know what I'm going to do this time? You know it. Take my ruler out, because that is my go-to when I'm using tear and tape. I like to take my ruler and boom, done. Now again, you can do what you want. If you want to cover more of the design paper, just bring your tape down. Entirely up to you. I want my design paper showing. I'd rather place my adhesive on the paper rather than the ribbon, because I find that when I have put it on the ribbon kind of goes wonky, like a little bit out of shape. So I find that if I put my adhesive down first and my ribbon on top, it stays nice. Okay, so there are our two panels, and those are complete. So now what we want to do is we want to bring in card base. Sorry, having a brain freeze here. 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. We are going to put a little bit of glue, and bear with me here, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just I'm having a moment. Put a little bit of glue, not too much. I want to center this on my card. Let's go this way. Center this on my card. I don't want to be right in my score line, but I want to be close. I'm going to close this down, give it a nice little massage, and boom. Now flip it around and do the same thing. Now do not put too much glue because it will ooze out. You can also use tear and tape. And here we go. We're getting there. We're getting there. Now, very important part. Let's get all of these little things together here first. Whoops. 2.5 by 2.5, whatever color of cardstock you want. And again, whatever your favored adhesive is. I like my liquid Tombow. I like to have the wiggle room. If you ever put something down using your tear and tape and you realize that you're not square and you want to remove it, you know what you do? Take your heat gun, heat it up, and it peels off. Okay. Now, here's our book. Okay, let's start this way. And I've got this going the wrong way. Okay. And this is really crooked. Oh no, it's really crooked. You know what? It's too late and I don't have time. Now, here is the very important part. Okay, so here's our book. Are we still here? Here's our book, and here's our card. You know what? Let's put this down first. And again, like I had said earlier, because I was using burlap, it's thicker than just ribbon. So I put the dimensionals on there, and what I'm going to do is I am going to line this up with, I guess she really needed to get a hold of me. Oh dear. They say when you are doing lives, you should shut down your technology and everything, but you know. And now, this is the bottom of my card. Okay, do you see this coming together? Now, here is the very important part. So, your card has to open properly, okay? Right here in this corner, and we don't want to go far and just on the top, okay? You want to be about a 1/4 of an inch away from the bottom, okay? And so there, so you're going to put your adhesive on the top portion. You're going to line it up with the bottom, okay? The bottom of your card, about a 1/4 of an inch. Now, I adhered it to the top. Now I want to go to the bottom. So same thing. I just want a little bit of glue in that area on the opposite side. Top here, bottom there. Close your little book. And bring it down. And there you go. I am getting hung up on my burlap. Now all you're going to do is you're just going to decorate the face of your card however you want, okay? So here is the mechanism on your card. I hope you enjoyed your time, and sorry that I got a little bit scattered when I started putting my elements together. So if I really don't like my live, I'm going to do this all over again, and it will be a YouTube video. Thanks for popping by, and I hope you have a wonderful day.